What we have here is the original handwritten inventory made by the Secretary of the British Governor-General of India in 1849, Dr. Logan. And what it lists is truly breathtaking. There's jewellery set with priceless stones, handcrafted weapons, and even what was believed to be the largest diamond in the world. The money generated by its sale had an impact on the future fortunes of the entire British Empire. Devinder is a British Sikh who passionately collects incredible objects, all from a very particular time in Sikh history.
I love beautiful things, I love beautiful objects, and those objects that contain some history. For me, it's just like time travel. It's the nearest that I can get to visiting 19th century Punjab. So it's a... Would you like me to tell you a bit more about it?
Please do.
Well, so this is a middle of the 19th century watercolour, and would have been painted by a local Punjabi artist, but commissioned by the British just after the British take Punjab in 1849. And in this painting, we see this group of Sikh warriors called the Akali, the Immortals, on their way, travelling with all of their belongings. They've got these repairs on the scabbards of their swords, this emaciated horse, and this leader who's got gold quits on his turban, and now all he has left is this pathetic twig for a switch. And they go down south of India to safeguard the traditions because they know that they're going to be lost if they stay in Punjab.
They look defeated, don't they?
That's right.
The artist has really got the atmosphere
Absolutely.
of what's happening.
Absolutely.
Age in which the Sikhs were at the height of their political and military power. A time when the court of Ranjit Singh was the most splendid in the whole of India.
Ranjit Singh, in his darbar, in his court, the setting is the Lahore fort, inlaid marble stone. You also have all of Ranjit Singh's courtiers here, assembled in rank order, each of them with their wonderful cashmere shawls and turban ornaments and feathers in their turbans.
Maharaja Ranjit Singh was the founder of a Sikh kingdom stretching from Afghanistan to China, which he ruled for 3 decades. And through his astute leadership, he completely transformed the fortunes of the Sikhs.
It is. It's one of the most famous and greatest treasures in the V&A. It was made for Ranjit Singh, probably made in Lahore, and it just says everything about the power of the man, of the empire, the importance of the Punjab at that time.
It's very small, isn't it?
It's very small, yes, but it's got tremendous presence, even though it's not a huge object.
Certainly there to send a message to visitors, isn't it?
It is, yes.
But this throne wasn't just a status symbol. Ranjit Singh's choice of designer was a statement of the Sikh ideals which lay at the heart of his kingdom.
It's recorded that it was made by a Muslim craftsman called Hafiz Muhammad Multani, and the fact that he was a Muslim just underlines the hybrid nature of the empire. It was a Sikh empire, but Sikhs were actually in a minority, so Ranjit Singh was ruling an empire where Hindus were in a majority and there were more Muslims than Sikhs, and they were all equally able to rise to the top within the court hierarchy on merit, and that reflects almost certainly the teachings of the founder of Sikhism. Guru Nanak said there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, meaning that everybody in religious terms was absolutely equal.
The Golden Throne demonstrated Ranjit Singh's skill as a leader whose Sikh principles forged religious unity. And it was also a work of such opulence that it could only have been created by a man for whom money was no object.
And we've got some of the pieces out here that actually come from the treasury of Ranjit Singh in Lahore. And because we can trace some of those pieces back to that 19th century provenance, we can actually now say that this matchlock musket, rather than just being an Indian matchlock musket, actually we think belonged to Ranjit Singh. And what goes with this matchlock gun, also out of the treasury, is the belt with powder flask, pouches for bullets, all covered in velvet and beautifully embroidered.
I've seen very poor examples coming up for sale occasionally in the auction rooms, but that is just fantastic.
It is. Not only is it fantastic as a work of art, if you like, but we can identify this as Ranjit Singh's own one, as well as being a beautiful example of the type. The militarism of the Sikhs really goes right back to the 17th century, when the Akalis appear, and objects like this show that ancient Sikh heritage. This is a quoit turban of the Akalis, and the quoits, the discs on it, aren't for decoration. These are deadly weapons. These are steel-sharpened throwing quoits, chakram, which are a characteristic weapon of the Punjab from at least the 16th century onwards, Job's bowler hat. So, you know, it's a weapon system on a turban, and it's amazing to think of these being worn by soldiers who are fighting on a modern battlefield with flintlock muskets with artillery. It's an incredible story of using the best of the ancient world and the best of the modern world that makes the Sikh state under Ranjit Singh what it became.
Collection of cannon here. We've got two that have particular relevance to Ranjit Singh, haven't we?
That's right, yes. Ranjit Singh loved artillery, and when he started off on his military career, he had 2 or 3 which were inherited from his father, and a few that he'd captured. But he saw the British, you know, just across the border, and he knew he had to modernise his army fairly quickly. So from that modest collection, he grew his arsenal to almost about 800 cannons.
Legendary Kohinoor diamond, believed to be the largest in the world, and now set into one of the most important of all the British crown jewels. So valuable was it that the then Governor-General of India, Lord Dalhousie, gave it to Queen Victoria as a personal gift. Its fate, once in the hands of the British, summed up the attitude of the imperialists to those that they conquered. It also marked the end of the greatest Sikh kingdom of all time.